Girl, this part right here about to make me so sad, y'all. Because, I be trying to give Maria the benefit of the doubt, baby. But, sometimes you just can't. You can't. Oh, my life, be waiting for you. No. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and tip your favorite narrator via Cash App at $NayRob on YouTube. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, the paying members, they are privy to the puppy videos. Also, the paying YouTube members, they know what the next book is. My bad, y'all. I told y'all that we was going to be finished with the Natalie Cole book last Friday. I'm so sorry. But it looks like it's going to be this Friday, y'all. I just finished the book. I thought that... I'm sorry. Y'all know I be fucking up. I'm sorry. I don't believe I know anyone quite as complicated as my mother. And as I sit here, I realize that there are still so many things that I do not know about her. It would be very easy to use this as an opportunity to vent all my frustrations, anxieties, and every other resentment that I felt towards this woman since I was born. Could not most of us fill up volumes of pages with wrongs, real or imagined, that we believe were done to us in the past? And isn't it easier to blame than to forgive? Certainly it is. As I said before, to forgive is not human, it is divine. Rather than go through a litany of all the stuff old hurts are made of, I chose first to give my mother nothing but praise. And to those of you who think I'm trying to play it safe, go and write your own book. It's funny that she said, those of you who are trying to play it safe. I've read, not a lot, but some commenters for this book review that said that Natalie Cole is being very kind to her mother. My mother has left an indelible impression on my life. Along with my father, she fostered my love for music, and I credit her with giving me my love for reading. She instilled in me a respect for education and gave me my work ethic, my manners, and my eye for stylish clothes. When I was growing up, I thought she was one of the most beautiful women I had ever seen. On occasion, when we went out together, she was always impeccably put together. She is very light-skinned with jet black hair. And back then, in the 1950s, she wore it in a style that grazed her shoulders. I couldn't wait until my own hair grew long like hers. She is not tall, but not short either. Small-boned with a waist to die for. She wore a perfume that became my favorite for years and years, up until I left college. Sometimes when I am feeling nostalgic and melancholy, I'll purchase another bottle. It's called Youth Dew by Estee Lauder. Well, that's in my Amazon cart, ready to go. My mother never talked very much about her own life. I know that she very much loved her dad my grandfather, Mingo Hawkins, who was a postman in Cambridge, Massachusetts. My grandmother had died when she was little. She was also partially raised by my great aunt Lala, Charlotte Hawkins Brown, who took her and her sister Babs to Sedalia, North Carolina, where they attended the Palmer Memorial Institute, a rigidly run prep school for young black women. That says a lot right there. I don't know my grandfather very well. By the time I met him, he was very old. I don't remember spending much time with him. It wasn't until about 12 years ago at my sister Casey's wedding that she revealed that our grandmother was from the Bahamas. Because I'm telling you, look, I got a neighbor that's from Bermuda. When I tell you that goddamn girl and her mammy is fucking beautiful. I mean beautiful. I'm like, God damn. Them people's from the West Indies and the Caribbean and over there sitting on them islands, baby, they be beautiful. It's like sun-kissed skin. Like you people over there in California. I've kind of had to ask other people about my mother's life, and this is what I've been told. Before she married my father, my mom was married to Spurgeon Ellington, a fighter pilot who was killed on a routine training flight just after World War II. My father, too, had been married previously. In fact, he had been married to his first wife, Nadine, when he met my mother. So let's keep this in mind. When Nat King Cole met Maria Cole, she was the it girl. You hear me? Oh, I'm a dark-skinned man. You know the come up is always a red bone or a yellow bone, depending on what part of the United States of America you're in, because in Texas, I would be considered a yellow bone, which is crazy to me because I'm brown skinned. But anyway, he's a dark skinned man. And you know, for some of you dark skinned men, to catch you old red bone is the biggest come up ever. Keep in mind, he's already married to another young lady, right? So he goes to Maria and he's like, What's poppin', Maria? You want to get together? She like, ain't you already married? Yeah, but I will divorce her if you agree to be with me. Nat King Cole ain't shit either. So two ain't shit people. Not saying that he wasn't shit as a father. I'm saying he wasn't shit as a first husband. I mean, let's keep it real. He was a dark-skinned man, and the accomplishment is a red bone. He done married his red bone. Okay, he left his regular wife to get with this red bone. And how you catch him is the same way you lose him. Because Nat King Cole started cheating on his red bone with his hee-haw white woman. So he ended up leaving Miss Nadine Robinson for the ultimate red bone. In his opinion, the ultimate red bone. You mean to tell me if I divorce this regular bitch over here, I get to have me a full-blooded red bone with hair that sweeps her shoulders? Nadine, bitch, I'll see you later. And as I've said, my father was the son of a Baptist minister. Small wonder that his parents were not too happy when she arrived on the scene and turned his head around. So initially, this did not make for great family relationships. So the family is mad at Maria for causing the breakup. But Maria ain't stand at the altar by herself. Nat King Cole was standing right next to her. You know, so they blame Maria for the drama. But Maria, she did eventually get her just due. Okay, because like I said, he cheated on her eventually with the hee-haw girl. Although my mother speaks rather fondly of Dad's father, I was told there was some friction in the family when she became his wife. My dad's oldest brother, Eddie, supposedly never stopped seeing her as the woman who broke up the first marriage. which may be the reason her reaction was so reserved when the mortuary showed me his corpse. I could never get her to talk about these kinds of things, and early on I didn't feel that I could confide in her or that she would ever confide in me. Baby, you talking about a time where you knew nothing. Nothing. Black women were soft, demure, when they wasn't working hard as a motherfucker to maintain the household, but they were soft, demure, perfectly put together, and quiet. My grandmother never talked about anything. If the only thing my grandmother did was train her grandchildren how to maneuver in the world very well. And because me and my mom were the last ones to live with her as far as her children, and then she ended up living with my Aunt Wee Wee, I got it the longest. I was able to receive the most culture from her, the most manners from her. I was blessed in that regard. But my grandmother didn't sit around and talk adult business around me. So nowadays, you know that like two adults be sitting around and talk about Ray Ray getting shot out on Minnesota Avenue without a problem, and the kids just be listening. You know, they didn't do that back in the day. That was not something normal. So we didn't know anything, you know? We didn't hear two aunts sitting together talking about what happened with Cousin Kern. You didn't hear that then. Now, maybe yes. Then, hell no. I could never get her to talk about these kinds of things. And early on, I didn't feel that I could confide in her or that she would ever confide in me. You know, the kind of mother-daughter things that are taken for granted. Late night talks about boyfriends or dishing the dirt about so-and-so did such and such. She just didn't seem to look at us, my older sister Cookie and me, as being on any kind of equal ground with her. You don't talk around the children. You don't talk messy around the children. Listen, even to this day, because I was raised by my grandmothers, because you know I didn't know my mama. I didn't know the bitch, okay? Because she had me young. She was working. Financially, that hussy was always there. She appeared like magic. But for rearing, I didn't know the bitch. To this day, like if I'm over my brother's house and it's me, my brother, and my sister-in-law, when my nephew was right there, I'd be like, baby, go downstairs and play. She just didn't seem to look at us, my older sister Cookie and me, as being on any kind of equal ground with her. I don't see the problem with that. I got the distinct impression that there was not a lot of nurturing in her family, and this was reflected in how she raised us. Her own nurturing skills were definitely lacking, so she hired nannies and maids that could provide for us what she seemingly could not. And there were some wonderful women who did the best they could in that department. But of course, it's not the same as the real thing. Each of my siblings has a very different kind of relationship with my mom. But I can't say exactly when mine became so markedly different from that of the others. Maybe it was because I was so hard-headed and had a bit of a mouth on me. I was stubborn and had a rebellious streak that she constantly had to put in check. I am certain that my mother wanted the best for me, for all of us. It's just the way she went about it that left much to be desired. One had to agree with her on everything, and when it came to having an opinion or having a debate, that was not an option. When my father died, there is no question in my mind that a large part of her died too. and she changed little by little. I believe that her life began when she met my father, and she was not ready to let it go in any way. For her, this was her identity, and for the next 30 years, she wore it like a shroud. In fact, even when she remarried, she still would use the name Mrs. Nat Cole to her advantage. Even now, she has returned yet again to Maria Cole. This is her comfort, and this is where she lives. When my mother and father met, she was singing with the Duke Ellington Band, and her aspirations to be a singer never died. So she later attempted to revive the career she had given up. It was a brave but brief attempt, and in retrospect, I, for one, wish that she had pulled it off, but it was not meant to be. Now you can imagine that when one of her daughters attempted the same thing and hit big, well, it's just possible that she might have experienced, at best, a bittersweet reaction, and at worst, downright envy. Hence, the encouragement that I received from her came in spurts. As much as it seemed there were times when she really was genuinely proud of me, I rarely felt that she was really happy for me. It is unfortunate in terms of our relationship that I'm having the career she never had. Although Cookie was the oldest, Cookie was not Maria Cole's blood oldest. Me being the oldest to my mother, and I am a girl, there was for a long time this underlying competitiveness. If my mother only knew how much of a pedestal I put her on, but because we didn't talk and I was never taught to talk, to say, okay, mommy, this is what's happening. Because when I was struggling with my own issues and my mother was struggling with her own issues, we didn't talk. Like, she would blame me for things and I would be like, you're not paying attention. Do you see what I'm going through? She would, be angry with me, but I'm like, you're not looking at the cause of what's happening. And it was all because mentally she was not mature enough to be in a marriage. And she really wasn't mature enough to raise a child, especially a teenager. She really, really wasn't. And I don't know why Mike Epps joked about it, but he said, what the fuck is up with you mothers and that first daughter? Why you be so angry with them? I'll never understand that.
Them black mothers love jumping on their daughters. But them mamas and daughters always got that little rival thing after a while. When the daughter start getting spunky with her mama and tell her to do something, I'ma do it. What'd you say? I'm trying to knock your head in between that wash and dry. Don't play talking shit to me. Black mother love to do that first jump on. Let's get an understanding around here, heifer. And then they call and tell everybody I had to knock Shanika's motherfucker. I tried to kick that bitch off behind the damn wash and dry. I guess because she got titties, she thinks she's running something around here. Then the next 2 days, I love you, baby. Wanna go have lunch? You done beat me all upside the head and told everybody at the church.
When she took over my affairs in the conservatorship, I did not resist. Even in my drug haze, I knew she was doing the right thing. I believed she was trying to protect me, and I trusted her. But as I've said, when it came to being a part of my therapy, now that was something she could not do. My mother is a fiercely proud woman, not the kind who readily admits to making mistakes. I suppose for her, the idea of sitting in therapy with me meant drudging up not only my faults, but hers too. But how do I understand why she chose not to pay for my son's care while I was away? That's what I want to know.